Imagine a stormy sea, a small boat being tossed around like a feather, and a man, Jona, sleeping soundly in the hull, oblivious to the chaos around him. This is more than just a vivid picture. It's the beginning of a divine assignment. The tale of Jona, a man chosen by God himself to journey to Nineveh, a city plagued by wickedness, to preach against its sins. But Jona, in his fear and refusal to heed God's call, chooses to flee in the opposite direction. He boards a ship bound for Tarshish, hoping to outrun God's command. The heavens respond with a violent storm, tossing the ship like a toy in the hands of an angry child. The terrified sailors, realizing the cause of their predicament, reluctantly throw Jona overboard. As Jona plunges into the dark, tumultuous sea, a giant fish, sent by God, swallows him whole. Inside the belly of the fish, Jona finds himself in a dark, damp, and desolate place. It's a world far removed from anything he'd ever known or imagined. Yet, in this unique form of isolation, Jona comes face to face with his disobedience and the consequences it bore. He turns his heart towards the heavens, praying fervently to God, pleading for forgiveness and mercy. His voice echoes in the stillness, a solitary plea rising from the depths. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jona remains in this state of prayer and reflection, his repentance resonating through the cavernous belly of the fish. Then, in a divine intervention, God commands the fish to spit Jona out. The fish, obedient to its creator, complies, releasing Jona back into the world. God, in his infinite mercy, grants Jona a second chance, a chance to fulfill the assignment he had initially shunned. Drenched and humbled, Jona steps onto the shores of Nineveh, ready to deliver God's message. The city of Nineveh, an epitome of wickedness, stands tall and formidable as Jona walks through its gates. As he strides through the city, Jona's voice rings out, a clarion call of warning. His words, heavy with divine prophecy, echo through the stone streets and high walls, reaching the ears of everyone within the city's bounds. He speaks of imminent destruction, a divine reckoning for the city's wickedness that looms on the horizon. The Ninevites, from the king on his gilded throne to the common man in the market square, they all hear Jona's message, and they believe. A wave of repentance sweeps through the city, a tide of humility and contrition that washes over every heart. The king himself steps down from his throne, dons sackcloth, and sits in ashes. His decree echoes Jona's prophecy, urging his people to turn from their wicked ways and cry out to God. In response to their repentance, God decides to spare the city, much to Jona's chagrin. Under a scorching sun, an angry and disappointed Jona sits outside Nineveh, waiting for its destruction. In the heat of the day, God gives Jona a gift, a plant grown overnight, providing shade and comfort. But as quickly as it came, the plant withers, leaving Jona exposed to the harsh elements once more. He despairs, crying out against his misfortune. But then, God speaks. He points out the misplaced pity Jona has for the plant, a temporary comfort that came and went without effort on Jona's part. Yet, where was Jona's compassion for Nineveh? A city full of people who, unlike the plant, have the capacity for change and redemption. God's lesson for Jona is clear. His mercy is boundless, extending to all his creations, even those who have lost their way. As the sun sets, Jona, with a newfound understanding of God's mercy and compassion, walks back into the city, leaving us with a timeless lesson about obedience, second chances, and the boundless mercy of God.